world. The fact is, and what you're saying is that when you share about this great light, you do it in basically a universal way, or a way that you think will not offend those folks. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, what you are upset at is you're wondering how they can have you say something else about that. Is that correct?
And more.
Okay. Well, you pick it up right there, and let's go from there.
I feel that the other religions are not being represented here. I can agree with all my colleagues and how they feel. You do feel what you feel. But also there are others out here of other religions and other nationalities, and they also feel. And why can't that be right? You're dealing with the Bible, they have the Quran, and the other books that they hold dear, and it's okay. I am dealing with children. I am dealing with parents who are losing a loved one. I embrace every religion, no matter what it is, because you cannot change a person's religion and say, Jesus Christ says to do this, when a mother is of Hebrew faith, or as she said, Burmese faith. You embrace it because there is one. The children have shown us this. These innocent children have not been put out into the world where they can lie and connive. They're pure. And they have come back and told me this, the 9. The 1, okay, I accept that with, and the child probably did see, because that was of her faith. And she accepts, and I accept. And the bottom line is, when I help these people, these children cross over, you must accept all the faith. That's the only way. God is in wisdom, no matter what name you give him. You can't say anything other to a mother that has this dying child. You accept it, and she accepts it. Okay, that's my part that I'm
So ask them a question. What do you want them to explain?
Well, I can understand your feelings and how you, what you're talking about, the Bible and Jesus Christ, but can you understand their feelings?
Of course, yeah, I can clearly understand their feelings. And maybe to address some of the things that you have brought up, you know, truth is not, ideas are neither broad or narrow. You know, they're true or they're false. And if you look at comparative religion, and my dissertation was in comparative religion with an emphasis on Eastern religions, there's a vast difference between one religion and another. They do not all teach the same concepts of God or the same views about Jesus Christ or salvation or the nature of man or the afterlife. They teach different views, they're contradictory. So amidst these competing claims that we find in comparative religion, how do we determine what truth is? Well, I have to see if anything really stands out in the field. What does stand out is the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, which would stand up in a court of law today. I've talked to a number of lawyers who have told me that if the evidence were presented fairly, the fact that Christ rose from the dead would stand up in a court of law. So I have to look at
to a Hebrew mother?
I have to look at what he said.
Or a Buddhist mother?
Yes, I have to look at what he...
At the time the child is dying? You're
I'm
going to say Jesus Christ?
I'm not talking about children dying at this point. I'm talking about what's true. If Jesus
That's
Christ,
what you believe.
Well, no.
And what they believe is true also.
If Jesus Christ said, I am the way and the truth and the life, no man comes unto the Father but by me, that's true or false.
And it's wonderful that you're quoting these, but say this to a mother with
if
another
it's true,
religion.
If it's true,
and
then,
you accept this.
Okay.
Allow them to accept
Let
it.
David in here.
What would you say to the mother of a dying Hebrew child or Buddhist child or Muslim child, and you want to give them an injection, for example? No. I mean, maybe this is the only thing that will save their life.
This is the scenario you're giving me.
Yes. And they say, but we don't believe in that. What would you do?
When I reach the child, there are no injections that we have to worry about.
Yeah, but I'm asking you. You see, you're saying that it doesn't matter. Anything is truth, but it doesn't work in medicine. It doesn't work in anything else.
That's why they call it the healing art. They don't say it's a science.
Okay, but look.
Change your metaphor around, David, and change the illustration. If a doctor said, this is a good painkiller, and this will keep the pain down, etc., etc., and over here you have another syringe that has poison. It has something in it, but the fact is for this patient to be poison. If a mother came into the room and said, I want you to give her that one.
The poison?
Yeah. Would you do it?
No.
Maybe, but she believes in this.
All right, she may believe into it. And you know what would happen? Probably when I left the room, the mother would give the syringe to the child if she really believed in it.
No, you're going to take the syringe out of there. But
and there's nothing I could do.
Pediatric cases, to me, are completely different than adult cases.
That's
They're
right.
innocent. The adults, like you saw when you went into adult medicine suddenly, 3 suicides, all bad cases all at once. You didn't see that in children.
No, not in the 500.
In adults that go through the near-death experience, this 11, 13 million, whatever, that see the light, they don't see, I saw Buddha, I saw Maitreya. I didn't see, they don't name the God of their faith usually. They'll say the Yamdut or the messenger of death. But in the United States and in Christian areas, I saw Christ. They name it specifically. This is of some importance because in the emergency room, we don't say, here the Hindu, and I've had Hindu patients, they call on Shiva or Vishnu, Brahma, help me. It's God help me, or Jesus help me. And I think Madeline O'Hare, when we get her there, she'll say, God help me. She's the atheist.
Okay, we got to take a break. We're going to come back and pick it up right here. But I also think we need to make one thing, is that no Christian would say that they're going to force their belief on anybody else. I think we need to take that away, the things. We're not saying you're going to mandate this by law, you're not going to force somebody to do it. What you're saying is you're debating this on the basis of what is true, and you're put into a situation, you might not have any control over that situation. So that's one thing you have to do. But I want to, when we come back, if I could start this with the fact of, June, if you had had the experience of Howard, in other words, sometimes life is not the way we stack it up to be. I keep learning new things every day, and that man had one of the biggest surprises anybody's ever had. I'd like to ask you that question in terms of her question over here. You're an atheistic professor who has a hell experience, weren't expecting it, and what did that tell you, and how did that change your worldview? Let's pick this up when we come right back. Stick with us. We're back. We're talking about what happens when you die, and do the experiences of, say, 13 million Americans who have had near-death experiences, gone through the tunnel, seen the great light, and so on, and come back. Not all of them have had that experience. What, 2/3 have not seen anything. So we're talking about 1/3 of those that are having them see something. But the fact is, what kind of conclusions do we draw from these people that have had these experiences? And Howard, in terms of the truth question, okay, you did not believe in the Orthodox view of God, the Bible, Jesus, and so on. In fact, you were against it, okay? You find yourself in hell. You had a hell experience. You didn't have one of these positive experiences. You had a hell experience, okay? What did that do to your view of reality? That went against your view of reality.
It totally destroyed it, and I had to rethink everything. But I was so eager after the experience to save my wife and my children and my friends from that hellish experience that I literally tried to hammer the Bible into them. It finally got to the point where I realized nobody could stand to be around me, because I would literally yell and scream Bible verses all day long, thinking that if I were loud enough and long enough, I could persuade them. I did much more harm. I did them irrevocable harm. It's taken them years to get over that and find Jesus Christ as their Savior in their lives because of the harm
But
they
you did it out of sincere concern, because you didn't want them to go where you'd been.
Well, the question,
Well, absolutely.
Well, the question is this. Your methodology might have been wrong, but were you right even to bring it up?
Absolutely, because I think this is shocking. In my adult life, for as long as I can remember, I was never evangelized. No one ever mentioned anything about Jesus Christ or invited me to church or anything like that. I don't know what I would have done if they had. I mean, I can't predict that, but nobody ever did. The Christian witness out there, from my experience, doesn't exist, okay? I think we have an obligation. That's what I'm trying to convince my congregation of in my church. We have an obligation to go out there and to witness, and it's not to forcibly do anything to anybody, because that's counterproductive. It's to witness out of love and caring.
Okay, hold that thought. You didn't believe it either,
Right.
okay? You saw a guy on the floor that you're working on in a clinical death situation where he's dying and you're trying to save his life, and he's going back and forth between hell, and you say a prayer and he gets saved, and the fact is all of a sudden you're saying, wow, what happened? Okay? It changed your whole worldview. Are you wrong now to write books and tell people about that?
No, it's my calling. And I told him to keep his hell to himself. I didn't want any part of religion or anything else. Now I'm collecting cases.
Yeah, let's just hold on that now. June, if you're like these two guys right now where you don't believe their worldview, and I certainly understand that. if you had, surprise, 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 an experience like